approval for the agenda. Two more things to add to it. Number 8 is a large circle. Number 9 is a variance.
Motion approved with those changes.
All in favor? Motion carried. Approval of February minutes. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carried. Old business, roads.
So basically, we talked about using milling and that, so. Right, that's,
Can't hear you, Bruce.
Can't hear you.
I said, we talked about milling, using milling over the stones, and, so we can just bypass the road. Right now.
All right. What? Moving right along. Bylaws update. Pay and/or ratify.
Okay, for those who have been following along, this started last year. It's been over 6 months since we were working on the bylaws recommendations. Joyce Rywall began this group with volunteers from every facet of year round. She wanted people from the homes, cabins, and the campgrounds, and the representative. She also tried to have somebody for everybody with different backgrounds to give a good perspective for the property owners. My background is in law enforcement. I retired as a lieutenant of police in Harrisburg. I also did a short stint as a division commander. And then I moved to the sheriff's department after retirement and ended up in the management team there in Norfolk County. I helped write policy, I interpreted laws, and I enforced the laws. My basic statement when I opted for this job was that everything we do has to be reasonable and defensible under the law. I think we've accomplished that. Joyce, although she started this group, all she did was monitor and coordinate. She did not take part in any votes. Of the people who were involved, the only 4 that lasted until the end were myself, Kate Rywall, Brenda Scherf, and George, of course, on the board. George, again, had no vote, did not take part in the votes. He provided valuable information. He offered suggestions, but again, he did not vote for the recommendations that we have today. We've spent countless hours in research and coordination to get to this point. Most of the updates are minor, changing the wording, getting rid of legalese that we could, but the major problem we have is twofold. Number one, state mandates under Act 115, which is an update to Act 68, which governs the DOA. They have mandated that we have an independent auditor for every election. They don't pay for it, we have to pay for it. But it has to be independent. The other thing was, with the bylaws update, we need, again, by law, 51% of all eligible property owners to vote for the updates. Our current bylaws say 1 vote per lot. The law says 1 vote per owner. So if you have more than 1 owner on your deed or contract, they need to vote for the updates. Another major change, we've asked to initiate a conflict of interest policy. It's very important for a nonprofit to have that. they can elaborate on that also. As I said from the beginning, we as property owners have that perspective when we look at the bylaws. We don't look at we look at the governing policy, but from our point of view. So that in itself is a benefit to everybody here, everybody in the year round.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, I wanted to just give you a highlight here in addition to what Ralph has indicated. We have spent so many hours on this. And it's a packet that we have provided. For our members here, we provided a whole packet of what we've been working on with all the adaptation or modification for the bylaws. Okay, for the board to review. Okay, why is this so important? And one of the things I want to indicate a little bit about that background. I've been working in corporations for a long time. I've also worked on a lot of board of directors. And when I've done that, I've become very familiar with how bylaws are done and also the Robert's Rules of Order. And in doing that, and being here at the meeting for several years now, I'm quite familiar with the fact that the bylaws currently in state are really totally out of date and in some cases are not being followed. In that respect, we, as this group, not only are serving you and the other property owners on Glendale year-round, but we're also trying to help the board of directors better manifest and understand what's required by the state law ensuring. We have Act 115, Act 68, we have 52, and we also have implementations that require certain things. And in that doing, voting, as we all know here, has been a very big issue the last couple of years. And what we are trying to do is rectify that and make sure that we're on track. Now, it's also indicated on your IRS form, which a nonprofit organization has to be involved with the 990 form. It also mandates that we have to have this information based on the law. Okay, so that's extremely critical here. In addition to that, we needed to stay by non-bias. We didn't want to have anything that's biased. In other words, this group sat here and did this work just based on being objective, looking at the law, and not siding with anything or anyone. Okay, that was very, very important and neutral. The other information too, we've already discussed and told everyone that we have to have an independent auditor, we have to have an attorney, and again, we wanted that to be a neutral person that did not know members of the board or anyone else, so we can get a objective view of what needs to take place. So am I clear on all this? Okay, let's go. Yeah.
282 Harmony Drive, property owner, Greg Gallagher. I just have one question before you submit anything to the board on the final adaptions. Did you do anything with the proxy votes? Were they removed so that one property owner, they either have to show up to vote or they can mail in their vote? But each one has to do it separately instead of one guy gathering a whole bunch of names and saying I got all the roads.
Thank you for asking that. As far as, I'm gonna let Ralph expand on that a little bit. We spent a lot of time on that, a lot of time on that. So, I'm gonna turn this over to him and just let you know that we have submitted a proposal to the board of directors already. So they have it, all right? So we need to have their approval, number one, to move on with the attorney that we have proposed, because we did go out and get a number of different attorneys, but there was really only one individual that really came back, and he was reasonable. Okay, so keep that in mind. So thank you.
To answer that question, there actually has to be two votes. Act 115 mandates that all property owners vote, and it must be 51% to approve the new bylaws. One of the recommendations of the bylaws was a change in the voting status. That's a recommendation.
Okay, yeah, 51%, all property owners must vote. I agree with that. But how are they going to vote if they're not up here to vote?
We're going to request a meeting with the board immediately after this to discuss the voting, because a lot of it right now is in limbo, because we need the independent auditor to set down the guidelines.
I think we,
How much?
didn't we say about that we were talking that we was gonna put it as a newsletter and also, send out something within 6 months or something like that?
One of the recommendations was that
That's what we did, right?
we use a ballot sent out to all property owners to be returned. Again, it's in limbo because we need the independent officers to set down what he needs or she needs.
Well, that should be set down prior to submitting the bylaw change. That should be, set down as to what it's going to be prior to the bylaw changes to the board. And there's also bylaw changes have to be read for 3 meetings and then voted. Yeah, but
It will be by the book. It'll take some time. And we've been working since July on this already. It's going to take more time.
The fact is that it also, you gotta remember that those bylaws haven't been changed or looked at since 2009, the last time it was updated. So you guys don't know that.
Lauren Hinkle, Beach 435. So am I understanding then that the property owners are going to be voting on whether or not we make the change, not the board?
The property owners have the final say.
Okay,
The board has to review it. It has to be reviewed by the independent attorney,
okay.
and then the vote.
And then the vote comes to the property owners.
Then it comes to the property owners.
Okay, is it property owners only in good standing, or is it property owners? Property owners in good standing, or property owners?
Property owners in good standing according to state law on what they can vote.
Okay, and that's the state laws. Okay. Thank you.
When you're gonna mail out ballots,
That is a suggestion, again,
what if you only get 30% return? You're gonna go 50% of the, when you get back? Are you gonna say, if you don't return it, it's a yes or no?
and it's a lot of it's going to be up to the board to follow state law. I don't have an answer for you. And again, it will be the independent attorney to decide.
Thank you for
Plans on dust maintenance, spring and summer. Lauren Nito. I'm sure I'm not the only property affected by the extreme dust. It's early in the season, it's already out of control. And every year, it's some kind of do this, do that, doesn't last the season, waste money. Would like to see Lark Lane paved or something up around the corner towards the top. Obviously, people are never gonna go 15 miles an hour, not gonna happen. But when I see clouds this early in the season, totally unacceptable. Does anybody else in here has the same issue? Speak.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Melody Lane.
Yeah.
On Melody Lane, we have 12 families that live there full time, not temporary, not intermediate, but all the time. Vista View, you remember the lane, you go down, and you go down Harmony. I counted 12 cars in Pittsburgh open 2 hours while I was outside working yesterday. They're flying up that road, including our friend Jeremy Kennedy. He's there every day with Harry Smith. Flies in and out of there. Someone picks up Harry's son every day. They're going at least 35 miles an hour. The dust is unbelievable. The road has never been paved, so it's dark. But I think that with 12 permanent people living there, something should be done.
Is that over on Melody Lane, man?
And there's 3 more that live there intermittently. So there's actually 15 people on that one road that gets no attention.
I'll be up there.
I got one too, Scott Hunter, S508. I live at the top of Vienna Drive in the turn of Falcon Crest. It's just a dust cloud. You can't even see houses when someone gets through it. Thank you.
Yeah, I live up here at 315 Harmony Drive. Where the landing library is, there's also a school bus. That's also where the school bus stops. I have people flying up there all the time.
Yes.
Is there any way I can get a portable speed bump in there?
Well, we want from dust to speed bumps.
To go back to the original, dust control, and part of that we talked about briefly, or passed over on the road plans. Part of the discussion that we had prior to this meeting, as far as our maintenance plans going forward into the spring, looking at a lot of our road issues that we have, and as you see, we did start putting some milling down, Lark Lane, and some other lanes that we have to establish a high priority products. What we are doing is we've made the switch from going from using 2A, 2B gravel to maintain these roadways to millings, and we're going forward with that. Millings, because it has an oil base to it, really cuts down on the dust, actually allows compaction on our surface. So we transitioned in our road care plans now to all millings, and what we're going to do is utilize the improvements that we make throughout this year to go on, and that will give us a base year after year, give us a base to actually improve these roadways instead of just deteriorating them. Each year, as we put these, the 2A stone down on it, the high sides are getting taken out, and they have raised yards, and then erosion and washout pushes that back out. With these buildings and the proper care of these buildings, with compaction, using the roller, adding bar if we need to, we can actually build an infrastructure and these roadways actually start to maintain themselves and will just be their faces as needed. So hopefully that will assist with the dust, and that's how we're trying to abate it going forward. We have a trial with some of the dust measures for our dirt fire pack roadways. Mr. Lachine, I think, gave us, we worked together to get the dust and try that out last year.
Yeah, it lasted about 2 months, June through July, I believe the timing was, and despite rain, after 2.5 months, I still had probably 85% reduction in the dust. If you do it early, it'll probably count several times in the season, but it was fairly economical and quite effective.
What's the procedure?
You mix this stuff at about 10% with water, and it gets sprayed down with their spray system, kind of. It's a little bit different. It uses like glycols and stuff like that to dampen, and the roadway stays kind of damp, and it causes an aggregation of the dust particles. So it's different than brine because there's less, and, you know, that's the chemicals on there that are biodegradable over time.
Yes, sir. You're referring to millings, is that what they call corn chip?
Well, tar and chip is a separate product on an established base. Millings is just that removed product of the asphalt and macadam roadways. So you see the piles of it throughout as you see construction work and things like that. That's just reground, macadam.
Sorry, what was your name?
Craig Gallerby.
I'm sorry, last name?
Gallerby.
Thank you, thank you.
So with the speed bump.
If you want to purchase a speed bump and signs before it and signs after it, needs to come up in the summer or in the winter time, it needs to be taken back up.
Yes,
But
I
if
put it
you
in.
purchase one and put it down in, you can put one in there.
Okay. Alright, because right now I park on the edge of the road, and if I see somebody flying up, I walk into the
Or just get security.
We have increased the security presence. We added hours to our security, pay, and also brought on an additional 20 hours per week for security. And unfortunately too, as the weather warms up and as we do these road improvements, that's going to increase the speed for a lot of these people. So this is where we need to really work as a community. And trust in the fact that if our security's out there and doing their job, we have to start holding each other accountable to it. It's the fact that we all live in here, we know the fact that 15-mile-an-hour speed limits on Kibler, on Harmony, on Melody, people don't even see them as a recommendation anymore. And we've all been guilty of it in the past. We just have to really do our best not to just let that keep going. If we do notice repeat offenders and things like that, please let the office, if you can't go home security, just leave a message with the office. Let us know so that way we can do it. They are actively present. We have security out there for all the school times. At the gate, they are out there monitoring. Just the other day, they were out there ticketing people or stopping people on Kibler Lake from I think 7 to 7:45. So we have increased the presence of our security. But there's going to be a time where this takes the ownership on all of us as community members to start slowing down. 1 second.
Go ahead,
Person, sure.
Go ahead. So am I to understand this milling process is more of a permanent?
The milling process will allow, because it's basically repurposed macadam. So it has the oil component, and it will reharden. That's why these piles, they have to be broken down afterwards and utilized and put down and compacted. Once they are compacted, there's enough of a base, so you can start with a 2-3 inch base. They actually then just adhere to each other, and over the course of the season, they hold up very well. There is maintenance for them. It is not as impermeable as a fresh macadam roadway, but it is, adds 70% of the cost of putting it in the macadam roadways.
The reason I'm asking is last year, a board member suggested a couple of different procedures. So Lark Lane, half was done with product A and the other half was done with product B, and they were going to determine which one lasted longer. Well, neither one of them lasted. Done. So leaving this meeting, I'm going to assume that Lark Lane is going to be taken care of properly this time. No more wasting money.
I don't know why you would assume that.
I'm talking to the board up here.
And say where it would go.
I'm talking to the board. So am I to assume that this is going to be done correctly?
We do not intend to waste money on doing things incorrectly.
Okay, great.
We have to look at the priority of what roadways need to be done. I cannot guarantee right now that Lark Lane is the #1 priority on the.
But it's going to be done.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bank card fee.
Wait a minute.
Hold it up. Okay. Sorry.
So I leave every morning at 06:15 to go to work.
I'm sorry,
And-
your name, sir?
Dave Kemper, 188 Troxel. And 9 times out of 10, security is at the gate already by that time. The problem is, when I get to the gate,
what am I doing with my vehicle? I'm stopping, I'm putting my foot on the brake so I don't go through the gate. But 200 yards earlier, they're doing 75 miles an hour. So prior to the bus is arriving, I think it would probably be a good idea to reposition security where they can actually document this and not just be an unhappy occupant making the complaint, because that is the job of security.
That's our explanation, thank you very much. We can look at the time frame and see if we can put somebody down like around the coastal area.
And back to speed bumps, that speed bump at the gate designed to stop tailgating is a waste of time. Absolute waste of time. It needs to have two repositioned at the bottom of the hill, because it's either accelerating coming up or not even trying to decelerate going down. I mean, the quietest vehicle that leaves at that time at 04:30 in the morning is a triaxle. That guy actually obeys the speed limit. And that's daily for him because he works long hours, but it could be a drag race there anytime.
All the time.
Yeah, well, we have security back here.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you a question, sir. I set up the gate from 6 o'clock till 7, till the bus leaves. And then from there, I usually go down to like Croxel and set, or I go down to Kibler and set, because we have another bus that comes down Kibler. And I have been pulling them over, and I have been right here, giving them a warning the first time, you know? So I think I pulled over 5 vehicles within 20 minutes on Kibler Road, doing 35 and 15, you know? So I'm actually working on it, so I'm scampering around. So I'm just one person, but I can't get to every lane, but I try to divide it up.
Moving right along. Bank card fee, Lori.
I've been discussing with the board that we paid over $4,000 in bank fees last year. They've been paying these for years, and they feel it's time to maybe pass that on to the people actually using the bank cards or credit cards to pay for their dues. So they are going to vote today on passing a 4% fee that will be attached to anybody paying with their bank cards or their credit cards. If you wish to pay with cash or check, you still will get the discounted price.
Can everybody hear me? The microphone's not working well. So I'm making a motion, it's the board's decision, and this is commonplace. You see it at all retailers that we're seeing these percentages on credit card fees. Years back, we brought in the credit card machine to give another more convenient or at least easier way for our members to pay. And that's been great. It's actually helped take care of a lot of the back things like that, giving them another avenue of payment. It does come down to the fact that it is averaging just over $4,000 a year in fees coming out of our POA funds. So the board's making the motion to instigate to start a 4% surcharge on all credit card transactions. As Lori mentioned, cash and check, you can still pay in person via cash or check or mail it into the office. All late fees are still the same, things like that. Anything that's processed via the credit card machine, though, will incur a 4% of your fee surcharge. Yes, sir.
What is the percentage you're being charged for using a credit card?
It varies by credit card providers, and it'll average anywhere on the low side from 3.17 up to about 3.73. So the 4% covers the cost of those fees, and just it's also about 0.3% convenience fee for the extra work and the time keeping that goes along with it. So it's pretty standard across all industries.
I did figure out what we collected last year and what we paid in bank fees, and it was close to 4% is what we paid. And then all vendors are tapping those fees, they're passing them on to the people using that.
Debit cards too? Yes, anything that goes through ACH, if you swipe a card, debit or credit, it'll directly incur the surcharge.
We have a motion on the table.
Yeah, motion makes it to enact.
Craig seconded, all in favor? Motion carries.
Just a comment, although it is convenient to use a card, it is standard business practice to charge percentage for use of card instead of using cash or check. That's nothing new. It's just that it has been done here before.
The water company does it now.
Yes, sir.
Tony Levin, 152 Timberlake Road. When you approved all that, that needs to go into the next newsletter, and we can send out that way everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
It'll be in the April newsletter.
I'm sorry, sir, what was your name?
Tony Leatherman.
Thank you.
Moving right along. Dump day, Craig.
Yeah, I'll speak loud since the microphones aren't working. Every year, we've had a dump day here where people can take stuff they accumulate on the property, bring it up and dump it. Last year was abused by quite a few people, and there's a lot of talk about just eliminating it. My idea was to keep it because it's a benefit to all of us, so we don't all accumulate trash on our properties. But what we're going to do this year, I believe, or I put up for a vote anyway, is that in the April newsletter, we're gonna put a coupon in there. There's one coupon per property owner, bring one load, and that's either a pickup load or a trailer load, to have it dumped up at dump day. And we're gonna, the board member and some of the guys that work for us are gonna be there monitoring that, so it doesn't get abused, because last year we had guys bring 12, 15, 20 loads up there of construction waste material, and all that does is steal from the property for one individual's benefit. So what I'd like to do is, sir.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
One trailer pickup load, I understand that. The borough councilman, and we added $10 a load for anything after. So if somebody wanted to bring 2 or 3 loads up, it would cost them an extra 10 to 20 bucks.
I think, well, when you define an extra load, what are you talking about? Pickup truck load, small trailer?
Yeah, with automobile. Yeah, what you have, whatever, you can't really dump truck. Pickup truck or,
Is that kind of?
Right now, you can bring up your stuff and pay a small fee and take it 365 days out of the year. One time, we're gonna do one load on the house, and if you have more, then you pay accordingly after that.
well, that's what I'm gonna say.
Yes, that's, is in place. $10 ain't gonna do it, pick up a truckload though. You'll go the wrong direction at that price, especially when it's like $800 to empty the dumpster.
How many dumpsters do we have left?
Last year, I think we did 6 dumpsters, 6 or 7.
C234. Would there be any possibility of having a spring and a fall dumpster? I know we used to have it for 2 days. So is it possible one in the spring and one in the fall? Thank you.
I think it's always been once a year up here, because what's the average cost before last year? How much did we pay last year for that?
Last year, it was about $6,000 extra. There was
Just for one day.
for that.
One weekend, it was the weekend.
Just
It was the weekend.
It was just a week.
2 days.
If you do it twice, that's double. That's a lot of money for the COA, because a lot of property owners are only gonna bring up, not even a small trailer. All right, now you're just opening up more people accumulate their stuff for the rest of the year, so you can bring it up, dump it on dump day, at the expense of the rest of the property. So I think it's a small benefit to have. I think we probably ought to keep where it is, if everybody agrees with that. It's one time a year.
Pencil, S5, 657, whatever it is, it's on Fox Street anyhow. A question, whenever you have the dump day, can you recycle some of that stuff, like get money back, like to help with the cost of?
We do try to recycle aluminum and cardboard.
We do
The
have,
problem is getting somebody to take all the plastic and all the other junk.
So I mean, like, any benefits,
Like
something to
metal,
get
refrigerators,
reimbursed?
things like that.
we do the,
We do the
make benefits, waste time, but yes, we do. I said, no.
Well, I've been told that we do the stuff.
Good, and we just help with
He said,
the.
we don't get hardly anything for it, so it's kind of almost like a winter time, but we do do it.
Good, to help with the cost.
Yes, what, Ken Cup, 405 Raymond Road, what day did you do that dump day? Was it April or was it?
Second weekend of May, I think we're talking about.
May 11th and
I
12th.
was gonna suggest that maybe they wait till like June to do it, like the middle of June or something, because a lot of these property owners don't come in until, and they might have, people down at campgrounds might have stuff that they need to get rid of. So, because the only one that's gonna be affected if you do it in like the May or time frame, it's probably gonna be only people that permanently live over there. So, they'll get a chance to get rid of some of these junk that's laying around from other campgrounds that people come over weekends in June, once the kids are out of school. Just something to think about.
Go ahead,
Hi, this is Kay from H, 320. I just want to ask, when are you going to, distribute those coupons? How are you going to distribute the?
The April newsletter.
For Adrian? In the April newsletter?
Moving right along, food bank.
We're gonna make a.
Are you You need to do a motion? All right. We need a motion for the dump day?
I'll make a motion for the dump day.
And the date?
We said May 11th and 12th.
We have a motion for that?
A motion. I'll second.
All in favor? Dump day, May 11th and 12th. Food bank. Lori, food bank?
That's, Katie.
Here. We have a food bank, issue of people running the food bank. Is there anybody that would like to take over and run food bank within? Come on, Joanne. Well, we seem to have an issue with that. If you guys know anybody who may be interested in taking over it, contact the office, please.
Stephanie has got a job and she's having a hard time keeping everything, so she's looking for somebody who might be interested in taking care of the food bank duties. We have about 5, 6 owners in here that do use it and look for that help every month.
Yes, sir.
Suggestions, if we don't have anybody to run the food bank, I know they have one, a major one in Patton. And maybe people would like to donate to that one and refer them for people to Patton Food Bank.
COA Garden. George.
I'd like to give you an update on the BOA Garden. Our office has received a $500 donation, and we have one volunteer who has signed up and said that when we contact him, once it's done. Other than that, the board is concerned about the upfront money. I think you're gonna hear a motion in a minute to go ahead and advance them $5,000, and we're hoping that we can recoup that. There is a fee for that, and we'd like to get some concrete numbers in regard to the construction costs. And there is also another question about any possible fundraising going forward. So I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that effect.
Joanne Rafter. I don't know the name.
That's okay, I just need the name.
Name. What were you just talking about?
There is a POA garden proposed by the audience. Yes.
Vegetables, things like that.
To answer your questions, it was proposed 2 meetings ago by Nathan Lasheen, one of our community members, to start a community garden project. The location was just below the dog park in the athletic field complex there. Right now, what we are looking at, and we're gonna make a motion today to allocate $5,000 as far as startup funds to be recouped via fundraising. This allow us to be able to go ahead and start construction. We're looking at about approximately 100 by 100 foot area fenced in with 8-foot fencing to keep it proof from the animals and provide the base infrastructure and base laydown to start this community garden. At the end of this meeting, I know Nathan has a sheet here too, but I would like to ask our community, anyone that's here, anyone that follows up and watches the stream for this meeting, to sign up to volunteer, and we'll set a meeting here within the next 2 weeks of those volunteers. And by that time, that will allow us to have the proposals and votes for the fencing. With this motion, though, it will allow us to build that fencing and start.
I was wondering what that was. I thought it was gardens, and I wasn't quite sure, so I wanted to make sure. Now that we're on the garden thing, let's take care of it. I know Bill told me that we could, on his side, which is where the building is, you guys' building is, we could trim those bushes and make it look nice. That's what we'd like to do. On the other side, which I'm assuming is the other side, I would like,
We rent off him, so he owns that.
Okay.
He just rents.
Yeah, well, because what we'd like to do is, there's some bushes there, they're crazy. So what I'd like to do is take them down and plant other things. And I just wonder if it's okay to do this, or if we have to go through whatever.
Okay with that, Bill?
What's that?
Up at the office, remove some of the scrappy looking shrubbery and put some nicer shrubbery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's other man back here, we're gonna fix that up.
Okay.
The tree is gonna go.
Oh, God, good. Nothing. Somebody paint that building or buy the paint and we paint, because it looks great. We need something done to make it more attractive when you come in.
You're talking about the shed shack.
Laura.
Laura Hinkle, guys, I'm 100% behind this garden, but an 8-foot fence is still a deer buffet. I really need you guys to consider a 12-foot fence. They're gonna jump an 8-foot fence. So I just wanna know what research you guys have done to guarantee the people that are going to invest their money into this garden aren't going to lose it the same way they've already lost their money trying to build gardens in their own backyards.
Nathan, you ought to be a pro at it, because I see what you've done with yours up there, but I think you've also electrified it, no? It doesn't matter so much then.
Probably due to liability, we should electrify. Historically, 8-foot fencing is standard for deer height. They're not really capable of jumping above 6 feet. Especially the emaciated weekend deer around here, they can't really get over that.
Did you realize that people that try to put a garden up there, they understand there's no water. What do you get for water?
Yeah, in my garden, I get like an 8 to 10 inch base of compost and soil, and then once I plant, I put down like 2 inches of wood chips for mulch, and I've almost never ever had the water.
You could also set up water barrels.
Yeah,
Like
water,
water
they
in
can,
there,
side by side or a little wagon, you can hold down some water.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go, I didn't think.
But that is one of the better areas of the field down there. There's a bit of like a natural wet spot that will wick water up, into the soil. I would like to submit $1,000 donation to the garden.
Wow.
Tony Desmond, 152 Timberlake Road. Okay, talk about the front coming in, Andrew, I did talk to Bill about Still getting prices on the replacement of that big pine tree. So far, I haven't got any receipt information back. One thing about it is maybe trimming that base, bottom of that tree out a little bit, get rid of some of them shrubs in there, maybe bring 2 boulders in, and then buy them cheap looking wooden, half barrel baskets, put in and put flower kind in and put a bulb and stuff around the tree itself. Just kind of beautify the place up a little bit. Not do a whole lot of work. If anybody wants to donate bulbs or anything like that or mulch, let me know, and then we can go from there then.
Thanks, sir.
Sir, I was writing, I didn't get your name, I'm sorry.
Tony Leatherman.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, this is Kay once again, I'm not gonna repeat my house number. Okay, what I want to indicate too, can we have some kind of a draft drawing of the houses it's gonna be laid out in, as far as the community garden? And also the fact too, if we're talking about water, we have the water barrels that's feasible that you can purchase and use. Then next, one of the things I'm noticing in all the meetings, when you're asking for volunteers, like I've tried to volunteer, and yet there's no designated area where you can, someone can go over and fill out their name and get that information. It's like, okay, who's volunteering? All right, if we can have some kind of format where we have something at the end of the table where someone can sign up for any particular item. That way you have something to lean on. Otherwise, you got people that are volunteering and yet they're not being called on.
Yes.
Okay?
For those people that are here today, we'll have, when we adjourn the meeting, we'll have a sign-up sheet that we ask them for your name, lot number, and phone number on it if you're interested in this garden project. To sort of just wrap up the garden project, I need to make a motion. I'm going to motion that the board allocates $5,000, returnable by donations and fundraising, to front this startup for this community project, the community garden.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Motion carried.
How big did you say it was?
100 by 100.
100 by 100 is what we're estimating. Yes, so that's going to be determined by the volunteers. This is obviously, we want to just allocate those funds so we can get this started. And today, when we have the names, we'll work very quickly in the next 2 weeks to schedule a meeting with any interested volunteers. And then that's where we can actually draft out what the layout site is going to look like. And then it's going to be evolutionary as we keep going and build this up. If it's a success, we'll be able to get, put it in a tool shed, put it in the rain barrel systems, things like that as we go. But it's really going to be gauged on the interest of the community and what we can just sort of be self-sufficient in doing.
One additional thing I'd like to recommend, can we have a donation box set up at the office so that anybody that comes to the office can donate to the community garden if they want to put something in there?
Nathan is going to construct a letter for the April 1st newsletter. And it's going to detail what's going on, what the size of the plots are, what the cost of the plots are, solicit for donations and solicit for volunteers. To answer the tip jar, that's easy. We'll throw a jar up there and put on their garden project, and we're gonna donations.
Can I also get, on the newsletter, put on there about, beautifying the front entry to get help for donations for some of that stuff too? That's possible. I mean, I got a crew that can get the work done, we just need to get, stuff to put in it.
Again, do you want to do the article?
I would just put in there to look for donations to beautify the front entry coming in. We're looking at bulbs, maybe some shrub. I'll get with Bill on some, maybe a couple boulders, and then maybe them basket things or something like that. But like I said, I'm looking at price on the trees right at the pine tree right now, but right now I haven't got no information. The worst scenario is I'll probably just end up cutting that tree down a little bit, just cut it back, reshape it, and then go from there.
That tree's coming up.
Okay,
The whole tree's coming up.
okay, then we'll just go ahead and plan on maybe getting, a cost on the replacement of that tree.
When they pull that stump, that was the ideal time to put the new one in there.
Okay, now I'm trying to find one that anybody else knows where we can get a big pine tree, that'd be fine.
Up in St. Lawrence, they saw, I don't know, it used to be Lyden's, and Lyden's out of business now, but when I travel that back road, I see machines going there, and grab it by the roots, you know.
Can somebody find out for me and let me know about that up in the area? I'm not familiar with the area around here.
Right up Swords Road here, I turn right out the gate, it's like, you go right by the East Coast Road, they're out there almost every day digging right now.
Okay.
Right along, Cactus, David and Cynthia Kemper.
Again, 188 Troxel Spring Road. The bylaws from 2009, the only animal that's addressed in there is dogs. Nothing about cats. So I was looking today to maybe go buy a camel and put it in my yard. Would that be okay?
Sure.
You know, I'm not trying to be facetious, but if my dogs have to be inoculated for rabies and maintained on a leash or within a pen in my yard, I shouldn't have feral cats coming over and defecating worm-ridden feces in my yard. And always a cat on the porch doing the same thing. I'm a little bit hesitant to announce anything here because last time I did, my dogs were poisoned with rancid meat, and I almost lost one of my dogs. $675 vet bill. Because I'm obeying the rules and somebody else isn't. So possibly, I don't know, again, haven't seen the new bylaws, but we should probably address more than just the canine species as pets. And what the parameters are for, you know, incidents like that. And this, go ahead, Ron. Go ahead, you probably have an idea, that's what I'm asking.
Well, I do have an idea. That would be, instead of the bylaws, better place for that would be the code of conduct.
Right. But the bylaws help drive that code of conduct, that's. And then secondary, Tom, we had talked last fall about the lot next to me, which your crew got a good start on, but it still is not finished.
As far as I'm taking.
All right, there's still 2 big trees that were cut down by the Glendale Corporation and left on that lot. And that is not what the code of conduct or the property owner's guide states happens. It's tree removal, not cut the tree and push it over and leave it to become a termite factory when I live in a wooden house.
I cleaned that lot up as a courtesy.
Right, the front.
Not to go the entire lot and pick up every stick, every
No,
tree.
not every
I
stick.
did the whole front of it, and that's as far as I'm gonna go with it.
Okay, so I also at that time came and left a note regarding the summary judgment against S&S Construction owned by John Slavinsky Jr. over in Arvona, that he is not a registered contractor in the state.
Is he in here again? Have you seen him?
I have not seen him in here, but I have heard of work going on from others for him still being in here. I think he's changed the vehicle.
Well, if you find out what vehicle and where, we can move forward. Other than that,
But I never heard.
with him as well, but
Right.
I did see your paperwork you submitted.
Right, so again, he's a known grifter, I'll just put it that way.
Found that way.
Yeah.
Move right along. Lark Circle. I believe I got, go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion that we supply a dumpster to clean that lot up, get rid of it.
I'll second. All in favor? Motion carried. It's a piece of property that is up for a tax sale, looks like complete garbage. worse than most of them, or at least top 5. And they give me permission to get a dumpster down in there and get in there and clean it up and throw it away, and hopefully somebody gets it at a tax sale, because it's up for a tax sale. But that's not something we typically do, is buy dumpsters and spend money to clean up somebody else's trash, but it's a health problem. It's past that stage, it's up for taxes, and it is a health problem. There's a couple other ones, but right now we're just gonna do white circles and start with, and hopefully we can get a few more done. We have a variance. Bill, you have a variance that someone would like?
Yeah.
This one is section 87 and she's 80. And they,
Jim and Sally Brickman are the name of the property owners.
they got the variance. We've done this 2-3 times before. It'll be in front of their trailer, it's a camper, and it's in the new campground. So it's gonna be about 2-3 feet off the road. They have no place else, I mean, they live there, there's no place else for them to go, and they cannot shovel snow anymore, they can't get a kid to shovel snow, so they want to put up a pavilion or carport, whatever you want to call it. In this case, it's gonna be a carport. So that's basically it.
And they want a variance because it's gonna be too close to their
Yeah,
border.
according to the rules, it's supposed to be, what, 6 feet or 10 feet?
10 feet. So you want to make a motion to approve this variance? All in favor? Aye. You're elderly. Motion carries. Vendors, let's talk about vendors.
Yeah, it wasn't on the agenda, but we had checked with our attorney to find out if we could find any vendors in the Glendale year-round. We've had no results with that. So, I'm asking the public to try to find any vendor, pizza guy, steak guy, french fry guy, apples, you name it. We don't have anybody interested in doing that. So in your travels, if you stop and eat someplace and they have a mobile unit, grab a business card, okay, and send it into the office. I'm sure they can use the business. I know they're not gonna do it on a major holiday like Memorial Day, 4th of July, etc. Possibly on an off weekend or maybe even in the evening when their head times occur. They can park outside the gate and give them the okay, and then they can simply give the POA a percentage. So, we have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Yes.
I know there was some interest in that last year, but we were charging a $500 fee for them to come in and park. Is that still the case?
No, we decided maybe if we just went off a percentage basis, it's a win-win. If they don't make nothing, they don't pay us nothing. If they do great, we do better.
I think that's what discouraged a lot of the vendors from coming, was having to pay that up front. So now that we know that's not an issue, I'll definitely try to tell people.
All right, yeah, we're gonna try it this way and see if that doesn't do a little something for us.
So where's the plant positioning? Is it like down at the front gate or is it
right here? I would say here.
I know there's that guy that comes in Pat and got on Bona's Pizza, I think it is.
On a test?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I talked to him and he sounded somewhat interested, but it would have to be from himself again, probably.
Percentage basis, if he doesn't do it, he doesn't come back, it doesn't cost him anything.
Down in Altoona, they even have a Mr. Pierogi guy.
Yep.
He's sitting in the corner down there.
Any questions?
Oh, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 2 things, Laura Hinkle. Whenever you guys get to it, I just want to put on your radar that Crosscut has some pretty big.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
so if you guys get a chance. And the second thing is I noticed that Chris Barnhart is not present at today's meeting. That's been 2 meetings he's missed this year. So are we replacing him as a board member?
Bill speak for history votes. What's that? Bill speak for history votes. Yeah. You speak for all 3 of your votes, correct? Chris does not need to be here.
You have a paper that says.
Bill speaks on his behalf.
Okay.
Yes, whatever document from the court.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
Anybody else?
I got one for roads again, squad owner S508. Do you have your contractors come in, do you have them bond your roads at all? Because up on, where they hauled all this stuff out, from up on, Grand Trunk, the little hill part, the mud's just coming up out of there since someone was hauling heavy loads through there. Is that any inkling you guys do that or anything, so they can fix the road after they're done?
We have a bond that they had to pay in order to build that house. I believe they pay $500 road bond, which goes to help fix whatever they, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and it needs it. I was up there, I don't know, I was up there with a roller and tried to get it down, but it needs scraped off and probably some millions at least put in there to get me back to half decent.
Well, also get on the crosscut as well.
Crosscuts would kind of wait until they get done moving all that stuff to the house they're building, but it's on my list, or at least right up the top of the list for one of the ones that needs love. You're welcome, and there's somebody back over there. There you go.
Gentlemen, thank you. I must apologize. Property owner 115, 109, 103 Indian Trail, Barry Frybridge.
I'm sorry, the last name?
FRYDRYCH. I was not sure of the process and I wanted to apply for a variance. If everybody knows where that property is, that is the property that runs alongside the back entrance to the dump.
They going all the way out to
Close to the dead end, there's a lot that could go in and then the park lot. My wife and I would like to move up here permanently. We have spoken to Level Construction about initially putting an addition on. And then we decided, because park models aren't really insulated, designed for year-round living, we're thinking about maybe replacing it with a different unit. I have some photographs of what I have and what I would like to put there. And so I don't know, like I said, what the process would be with that.
Go ahead and give them the photos of what you got. You know what you're talking about. Well, right now, there's just one other cabin in where it's campsite. It's right across the board. It's right across the board. Yeah, yeah. I think it'll look good. It's right next to
Okay, so to be able to wrap this up and move along, and if any other questions on the floor, we'll get right to the question. Just to take care of this property owner, I'm gonna make a motion to approve this variance so we don't have to deal with it later. So I'm making a motion to approve the variance as requested.
What's the variance?
The variance is domicile type. Originally his lot was a lot for park models. And it's going to be a stick-built structure placed there, different size and style, on a crawl space foundation. So really, the domicile variance to go from a park model to a stick-built structure. Yes, same area, no easements, anything like that. So the motion is on the floor right now to sort of variance.
I'll second that.
Hey, Bruce, or, who did first?
Lori? Sydney, motion we approve this variance, and it's second by Ron. Bill, all in favor for this variance? Yes, sir. Motion carried. You have your variance.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, back to road issue again. Periwinkle has very little stone on it, especially after the plowing this winter. If we can get another coating of stone on that, that's down.
All right, anybody else?
I have one more item. We're trying to keep you up to speed in regard to how we're doing on delinquencies. And in the month of February, we spent $510. And we collected $3,491.46. That's an ongoing process. I'd like to give a shout out to our office staff too. I know that Lori with the numbers is doing an outstanding job as part of that. And Tom Rinelli, we're gonna buy him a tent. We're gonna partner and nationalize parking lot. Because he has so many court cases and we are doing our best on that, we're doing quite well.
Moving right along, anybody else? Let's adjourn this meeting.
So hard to know.